Sometimes in life, I just stop and think about how I have nobody to talk to about movies, but then I stop and realize I have a YouTube channel that averages about 2 views per video, so I can talk to those people. And if you find yourself in the same exact boat and need someone to talk to, well, buddy, come join us. You can join us here at ZakIsCinema, because that is exactly what we're going to be doing today. Because today we are going to be reviewing and discussing the movie Milk and Cereal, which was a short film that came out in 2024. Now, congratulations to everybody watching this video, because this will be the first short film I think I review on this channel, so we're making history together here. But obviously, we have the new movie called Obsession, written, directed by Curry Barker, coming out very shortly here. So I thought it'd be a lot of fun to kind of go back to this guy's first short film here, Curry Barker. He is from the skit comedy YouTube channel That's a Bad Idea, and he actually just got announced to work with A24 in directing their new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. So very excited to kind of go back in history with this guy's work. I've not been too familiar with the YouTube channel, but heard he started on YouTube, then got these opportunities, and now is making a pretty big name for himself. And I am so looking forward to Obsession. I've always heard a lot of buzz about this short film, so I thought, what better time to jump into this right before we review and discuss Obsession. But without further ado, let's jump into the review section, starting with the positives, or just the things that I really enjoyed about this short film. Now, this video will obviously contain spoilers, so if you've not seen this short film, definitely check it out. Highly recommend it, and then come back here and discuss with us. But starting with the positives, I loved the setup for this film. Following this group of friends who run this YouTube prank channel, and they are filming this birthday video for their friend named Milk, while they're also secretly planning this prank to hold at his birthday party. It immediately feels very grounded and believable, especially within that online content space that the vibe of the movie is really going for here. And at first, we are just getting one perspective of what is about to unravel in front of us. And with the main group of friends pulling this prank on Milk, I like how that we kind of only hear about the prank and don't really get to see or hear the details or specific plans. We just kind of get bits and pieces before it all kind of comes together right at the beginning. The scene where these group of friends are meeting this sketchy guy they met off the dark web to buy a gun from this sketchy van in the middle of a parking lot is so creepy, unsettling, kind of funny, and it builds that tension earlier on, especially because they are buying a real gun that just shoots blanks. I mean, your head is spinning just imagining all the worst possible outcomes for this prank and for this movie, and that's exactly where my mind started going. And this guy that they meet in the parking lot is absolutely hilarious. He demonstrates how well these guns really work by faking a suicide right in front of them, and it's absolutely insane. Makes you chuckle in this dark comedic kind of way and is completely unexpected. It's one of the standout moments and really just elevates it and shows that this short film has very capable acting and capable actors that can handle this type of material, which is so impressive for a short film just thrown on YouTube. And speaking of that, obviously this is extremely low budget and not filled with professional actors, but honestly, overall, they do a tremendous job with what they have. The performances overall sell the premise way more than I expected going into this. And especially when you get to what you think the initial prank is at the party for Milk's birthday, the way that everybody commits to this bit of just having this random random dude show up and then pull a gun at Milk's birthday party and shoot one of his friends right in front of him makes it feel like this real YouTube video that you might randomly come across late at night. It's chaotic, but it's believable, and everybody's reactions really sell it. Like, you could see a group of friends who have a YouTube channel doing some dangerous shit like this. But immediately, this movie kind of takes a turn into a much more unsettling and creepy edge. The moment where there's a knock at the door right after that initial prank is one of the best scenes in the film. Keeping this old man figure out of focus is such a smart choice, and it instantly shifts the tone into something a little bit more unsettling. It kind of reminded me of that eerie background shot in The Conjuring 2 when the Warrens are interviewing that girl and have to turn away, and you see out of focus her morph and change in and out of this old man character. It reminded me about an unsettling scene like that, but in this scene, in this movie, it's creepy, it's effective, and it works. And from that point on, this is where the movie gets bigger than I expected, but better than I expected, because it starts to expand. And it just reminded me of a movie we just covered here called Over Your Dead Body. This movie also introduces additional scenes that back up in time, that recontextualize everything we've been watching and further deepen the story. And this is when we find out that the old man isn't the creepy villain, it's actually Milk behind almost everything. The intercut scenes that Milk is filming on his own are fantastic. They slowly reveal to us just how unhinged and how calculated he is as this serial killer, adding layers to what initially feels like a prank gone wrong short film, short story, to something much more sinister. The core concept is great because it follows Milk, this secret antagonist, someone becoming so obsessed with going viral that they spiral into something psychotic. That idea feels obviously very relevant, and the film leans into it in a disturbing and effective way. And throughout the film, we get a bunch of these intercut scenes with Milk, and we learn that Milk is essentially orchestrating everything. He's manipulating the group, building this ultimate prank, and where he becomes the smartest serial killer, the most calculated serial killer. That's his goal with making this prank video, all while turning it into essentially just a piece of content at the end of the day. And I like how this film shows his descent partially being fueled by feeling pushed out of the group's YouTube channel. Again, a very relevant topic. That motivation makes his actions feel more grounded, even if they become extreme, which just highlights how unhinged this guy is. So there's so many layers there to what is such a simple story, and I think that's why it works so well. And I love that this film doesn't have to do a whole lot to be creepy, but just the implications in some of the scenes, acting, and dialogue alone is what really elevates it. For example, Milk's manipulation tactics are some of the creepiest parts of this film, and that stick with you after you watch it. Hiding his friend's personal items and gaslighting him into thinking that they're just misplacing things, subtly changing things like his friend's pillowcases every once in a while to a darker or lighter color over time, just to make them question their sanity. It's psychological, but really effective. Just imagining this person within your own personal friend group is petrifying. He's so crazy that he ends up actually hiring that old man, that creepy old dude. He's just an actor. He's orchestrating the old man and convinces him and manipulates the actor dude too to poison one of his friends, and setting up situations where his friends unknowingly participate in these violent acts adds this layer of control, which just makes everything we've seen before and are going to see way more disturbing. And I felt so bad for his main friend that he lives with, watching Milk slowly break down his friend psychologically, pushing him towards guilt, paranoia, and eventually going as far as to wanting to just die is genuinely hard to watch in such a good way. And I think the biggest praise I can give this film is Curry Barker. He really carries this film. His performance is incredibly unsettling without ever going way too over the top. It feels grounded, which makes it creepier. Like, this could be someone hiding in plain sight. This could be somebody that you know in your friend group. And just being someone that's not necessarily a professional actor, I thought he did fantastic with this. And there's so many creepy scenes. Like, we find out that Milk actually has this secret kill room, this secret kill lab in the middle of the woods. And he ends up taking one of his friends' ex-girlfriends there and killing her and torturing her. It's extremely disturbing, and the film does a great job of making it effective without showing anything way too explicit, which is a perfect line to kind of balance, especially when you're on a budget. And I think what really elevates this beyond its budget is really the concept and the hook to this film, the idea that sacrificing relationships, morality, and sanity for internet fame is both relevant and genuinely disturbing. Overall, this is such a layered story with a very strong message told in a way that kind of keeps peeling back to reveal new information like every 10 to 15 minutes. It constantly recontextualizes itself, and for a first-time writer and director, it is so impressive. And just hearing the buzz about Obsession, I cannot wait to see what this guy does next. It's truly remarkable, kind of going back to see where he started from just a couple years ago to where he's at right now. It is so cool to see, and I'm so happy that I got a chance to watch this movie and talk about it with you guys. But with that said, let's jump over to my mixed aspects I have for this movie. And now, obviously, I am judging and looking at this movie as the perspective of a YouTube short film made on a budget of $800 compared to if this was released theatrically, had a bigger budget, studio backing. Some of these concerns might lean more negative, but this is definitely mixed positive for the context of this film. But with that said, there are definitely some moments where the writing and acting feel a little bit weaker. It never becomes unwatchable, but you could definitely see some of its limitations at times. But I think my biggest mixed feeling is with the ending and some story beats for when we get to the ending and some of the reveals. To me, I thought the discovery of these blood vials felt a little too convenient. His group of friends find this disturbing but disturbingly obvious box that Milk has under his bed. Having blood vials labeled with his victims' names in such an obvious looking box, he even has something underneath and has the address to his kill room. I felt like that was just a little too convenient, unrealistic, and didn't line up with how they were building up the character of Milk. So I found that to be just a little bit frustrating. It felt a little clunky kind of getting there, and like I said, just too convenient. But with that said, I do love the core idea of the ending and the majority of it. The scene of his friend just completely broken, begging to be killed after everything he's done with Milk, after they're trying to cover up the murder of the older man by just going further and further and further. It's incredibly effective. That bathtub moment is especially strong, just seeing Milk's friend just sit with the weight of everything before confronting Milk a couple scenes later really adds this emotional impact and arc. And that final confrontation where Milk is just confessing all giddy with excitement, seeing where his friend is at on camera, and then we see his friend right there hearing everything and then shoots Milk off camera. And then we also hear another gunshot kind of implying that his friend killed Milk and then killed himself. It's powerful and it fits the themes very well here. And I also like the ambiguity at the end. If you stay till the credits finish up, you see somebody what looks like to pick up the camera during the credits, and it either suggests that someone else is walking in, maybe he had somebody else part of this, maybe it's just one of their other friends that are coming to see what's going on, or it's ambiguous in another way where maybe this was all part of Milk's plan. His friend just had another blank, and that first gunshot was the blank, and then the second gunshot was Milk shooting his friend, and the one picking up the camera is Milk because Milk is still alive. So there's a couple different endings. There's a couple different ways I could see people viewing this, but I think my main issue with the ending is just how the final reveals kind of feel a bit rushed. His friend just kind of conveniently walking into Milk, just exposition dumping his whole plan, just feels a little too easy. Like, I think it would have been stronger if there was a slower realization, either piecing things together or catching Milk in a lie to have this more drawn out, intense scene, like something out of Breaking Bad when Hank finally figures out it's Walt and confronts him, like something like that, instead of just his friend just rounding the corner and being like, the fuck did you just say? And shooting him. Like, again, just a little clunky in getting there. I love where it ends up, but I thought that could have been handled maybe just a little bit smoother there. But despite all that, I would say that overall, Milk and Cereal is a disturbing and layered, low-budget short that uses its concept of viral obsession to deliver a genuinely unsettling and memorable story, elevated by a strong central performance and a surprisingly effective narrative structure. So for my rating for this movie, this is hard because it's a free short film on YouTube, but if they make a Blu-ray or ever make a Blu-ray, I would love to own this, add this to my collection, and I would love paying full price just to support this, but hard rating to do because it's free on YouTube. So please, please, please check this out if you have not seen it. If you're looking forward to Obsession, check out Curry Barker's first film here. But that's about it. Let me know down below what you think of Milk and Cereal. Have you seen it? Are you gonna check it out? Did you just check it out? Let me know all your thoughts and feelings down below, and let me know your excitement for Obsession. We're definitely going to be covering that. Really looking forward to that and can't wait to talk about it. But that's about it. I appreciate anybody watching my videos, so thank you so much. And yeah, look forward to more ZakIsCinema coming very soon.